Greetings and welcome back to another edition of the Friday 13th YouTube channel. Today you're going to be listening to an audio interview with guitarist Alex from the band Trail, who has just released their new album on Metal Blade. It's called Feed the Fire. It's a fantastic album. It's for people like those out there like epic metal, epic doom, black metal and a bit of power metal. So thanks for listening, folks. Please share on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. And also I'd like to thank Andy at Metal Blade Records, and also Alex for the interview. So thanks for listening, folks. Enjoy. Be safe. Okay, so we're talking to Alex from the band Trail. Alex, welcome to Friday 13th. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. So I don't know if you're familiar with Friday the 13th. It's been around since 1988 as a fanzine back in the 80s.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, 30 odd years, about 33 years.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I've been around for many, many years, interviewed so many great bands, but this is the first time I've interviewed Trail. So, but like I say, welcome to Friday 13th.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about the history of the band. So you guys formed back in 2007, I believe.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
we were in this like thrash metal band, three of us, and then we just decided that we wanted to play heavy metal instead. So we joined together with Andy, the other guitarist, and decided that we should play heavy metal instead. And,
so you said you was in a thrash band. So what thrash band was this?
No, there was we didn't even have a name. There was this transitional period between Martin and Andreas, our bassist. They had this death metal band called Abscess Plague, and when they kind of broke up, or their guitarist quit, I jumped into that band, but we rarely did anything death metal, and we wanted to play thrash metal, so we just spent a year working on some songs, not having a name, not doing any recordings, until we finally decided that we would form Trial.
Okay, basically. Then so was there any other bands called Trial before you decided on the name?
Yeah, like we knew this Belgian heavy metal band called Trial, but when we formed, like they didn't seem to have done anything for the past 30 years or whatever. So we didn't think that was anything we would account for.
I think the name Trial for a Swedish band is more appropriate.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. But yeah, it's a fairly common name. There's a lot of bands named Trial, obviously, but yeah, we try to do our own thing.
I know, looking at the band's name and listening to your music, you kind of remind me of another Swedish band, Sorcerer. Trial and sorceress kind of goes together.
Yeah, exactly.
Sort of like a witch's trial, and it's some kind of weird thing going on between you Swedish guys, and
yeah.
You know,
you're right.
I was just going to say, there's a lot of Swedish bands out there that are very influenced by doom metal. What is it with Swedish bands and doom metal? Why is it so much of an influence on your music scene?
Yeah, like I don't know actually, but it just felt that everything grew from Candlemass basically. That's where it all started with the Doom thing. But I mean, me personally didn't listen to that many Doom bands when I was a teen. But well, I did listen to them, but not. That wasn't my favorite thing. But when I look back at Trial's catalog, and we still have some Doom influences, like on Vessel and on Motherless, and even on this new record too. So I guess that's still a big part of our heritage as a Swedish metal band.
Okay then, so the first, you did a demo in 2000. How successful was that for you? Was that the first demo you did as a band?
Yeah, for me it was, at least. So I mean, we were really struggling because we played all the songs in rehearsal and it felt fine. But as soon as we were starting to record a demo, it felt well, looking back on it, at least, it felt that we played all the songs way slower than we should have. So it ended up like a bit crappy, actually, and it was just recorded by our friend, and it's a very modest recording. So yeah, but that eventually got us signed to the Coffin Slave. It was an Australian label, and we got contacted by him, and he wanted to release the demo in Australia on cassette, which he did, and then he said like, yeah, let's record an album and I'll put it out too.
Okay, then. So
So that's basically how we got to put out our first album, The Primordial Temple.
all right. So is that actually the demo with bonus songs, or is it the actual re-recorded songs altogether?
And the demo he re-released it first, and then we just had maybe, was it 2 songs from the demo ended up on our first full length.
Okay.
But everything re-recorded for that in a proper studio setting.
So why did you go to an Australian label? Why not a European label?
I mean, like, we didn't make any fuss around us. Basically, we had just recorded it. I can't even remember. We had this MySpace page, and I guess that's where that Shannon, I think his name was. That's where he heard us, I guess, and he was just basically the first who showed some interest in releasing our music, because we were printing these cassettes ourselves, and like CDRs and stuff. We're printing the covers and fixing everything around it. So, but I guess that Shannon was the first person that really showed some interested in releasing our music, and even if it was just re-releasing our self-made demo we printed like 80 copies of or whatever, it felt like a really big deal for us, since we hadn't done anything really in the music scene up until then.
Okay, because I mean, the first record, the album was like limited to 500 copies, and I was looking at the album cover, and it kind of reminds me of the first Warlord album, Deliverers.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah, maybe.
do you agree with that? You obviously must have seen that album, Warlord, the first Warlord.
Yeah, well, I guess there's some similarities, yeah, but it was actually our friend, like Christian, he's from Romania, that made a cover. We just I don't know what our inspiration was. We just needed a temple that somewhat looked primordial.
Right. Okay.
Or something. So that's basically how it turned out. And I mean, it was not the kind of sketch or painting this Christian dude normally does. Like, he did the Malicious Arts EP cover, which is much more his style, and in my opinion, actually 1,000 times better. We just didn't get this cover for Primordial Temple quite right, in my opinion. But yeah, it shows basically where we were as a band too, like immature cover, immature band too. So yeah.
Yeah, looking at the EP, it's a totally different logo as well for the band.
Yeah, exactly. The early stuff.
So I mean, you did the EP, then you did a single, then you did Vessels, which came out in 2015. That was your first label with them, first album with Metal Blade Records, I believe. Oh no, it was High Roller.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah, High Roller. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
the German label. Yeah. So how did you feel to be on a German label after being on an Australian? Because like they're more at home, aren't they? More nearer to home for you.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can't remember the specifics why we didn't do anything more with the Coffin Slave in Australia, but I know that he just shut down the label there eventually. So there was not going to be a cooperation with him anymore. And I guess that even though Primordial Temple didn't make too much noise out there, I guess High Roller heard it at least, and I know we were still in this new wave, if you can say that, with like In Solitude and Portrait and all that. So I guess they wanted to jump on us and see what we could do, and so being able to release Vessel on them, we're very grateful for Eternal. eternally grateful for them releasing it. And I mean, that the kind of music we play is very popular in German too, within the underground scene. So it felt that we couldn't imagine back then, at least, that any other label we would have felt more naturally or fit to release our next album on as a high roller. Like it felt that all the kind of bands within the genre and were pretty similar to us in a sense or another, they released on high roller. So we were so happy when we got the opportunity.
So what other labels did you approach you for the second album, Vessel? And what does Vessel mean? Was there any other titles for that album?
No, it was only the I think we figured out the title quite easily, and I mean the Vessel song is just like a description, basically, that I am a vessel for something else, something greater, and I'm giving everything of me, and I'm at basically the world's ends, not in real life or anything, but it's for me it just paints these pictures. I see exactly what's happening, and it's very real to me. I can't really explain the lyrics on Vessel more than that. Then it's just this image I painted up in my head that's fits perfectly together.
Okay, so what other labels approached you for this album besides High Roller? What other record companies came to you?
No, I don't think any did, actually. So we were just lucky again. That's kind of our, like the theme of the band, that we are very lucky.
I'm just looking at the album cover, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of Opeth, a little bit sort of thing Opeth would do.
Yeah, like Opeth is great. Like I wasn't into them when I was younger, but I like the last couple of years I discovered them for real, if you can say it like that, and they've done some really good stuff. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, okay then. So I mean, your singer. The next album was the Motherless. I mean, that was the first one with Metal Blade Records. That must have been a really good high positive note for you guys, being on such a successful label, going with Metal Blade.
Oh yeah, that's. I still have to pinch my arm to to realize it's true, and I mean. To just have this opportunity and being on such a great label, we all of it in the band just have to try to appreciate it as long as it lasts, and just like focus on making the stuff we do the best we could, basically. And,
right.
And I mean, with all this history of Metal Blade, it's just insane thinking about it when you grew up listening to all these Metal Blade bands, and knew of them for like since forever, basically. So it's a dream come true. It's a bit cliche, but it really is.
So what other labels approached you before Motherless then? Because obviously Metal Blade are like one of the biggest labels in metal. There must have been other labels showing interest in you at that time.
Yeah, we were having an offer from High Roller again. They wanted to do another record with us and release it, and it was basically around the time we started talking to High Roller about doing another record. It was basically the same time we got in contact with Metal Blade. So in the end, we just had these two offers that we had to carefully consider, and we did what we thought was best.
So when you signed with Metal Blade Records, was it Andreas, the German office, or was it Brian, or was it Andy from the UK office?
No, it was Andreas, actually.
Right, okay then. So you're happy with Metal Blade Records and the way things are going?
Yeah, absolutely. Like the amount of like promotion and like the money they spend on making everything good for us as an artist. It's perfect. We enjoy it so much, and it runs smoothly. Never any bumps in the road, so to say. And yeah, it's so far it's been working super well.
Okay, brilliant. So how would you describe your music? To me, it comes across between epic doom, power metal. Do you kind of agree? How would you describe your music?
Yeah, that's well, funny, but at least around the Vessel era, we heard a lot that we sound like this US power metal wave, and who writes, me and Andy writes all the music together, and we never been really into US power metal.
I love it. It's my favorite. It's one of my favorite.
Yeah.
I much prefer American power metal to the European stuff.
Yeah. I can see that too. Like I probably do it too. But yeah, and just growing up, we never were into that. We only were listening to black death metal mainly, and heavy metal and thrash a little bit on the side. But it's just around the time when we formed Trial, that's when we started getting more into this old traditional heavy metal stuff. But the US power metal stuff never really crossed me and Andy's mind. I know that Martin, our drummer, he's a huge US power metal fan.
Maybe you should contact me on Facebook and become friends.
yeah. I'll hook you up. No worries. he's oh my god, you should see his record collection. It's insane. But yeah, he Martin really loves US power metal, and since we always got these comparisons that we sound like that, I mean, I started to listen and getting into it more recently, and can somewhat understand the comparison between us. But it's to me it's actually funny that we get compared with these bands we never even musically we never even been inspired by in the first place. But yeah, the first album and Vessel 2, it's have this also King Diamond, Merciful Fate comparisons, which is more in line because we worship them still. So I mean that's a more natural thing for me to draw the comparison between us. And but I don't know, like I know that we released Sulfury as a single, and that's probably the most European power metal song we ever did, even though that's not really one of our main influences, but that's just how it turned out. And for me at least, I wouldn't say it's super much power metal, but yeah, a little bit doom. But I mean, this, I don't know if you can even say occult heavy metal, but that's basically what we want to create, this atmosphere, and we always aim to do it, even since the beginning. That's what got us into like Merciful Fate and King Diamond, because it felt this occult vibe to it, which we were really drawn to.
Okay, then I mean, when I've just reviewed your record, it's on my YouTube channel, and I've been trying to send you the link so you can check it out. But when I reviewed the record, I said the American bands, it kind of reminds me of Warlord. It also reminds me of Savage Grace.
Yeah.
And a little bit of Lizzie Borden.
Yeah. That's plenty of bands.
and then on the European side, you've already mentioned it because I was going to mention it to you anyway. You've got that black metal guitar vibe. You've got the Merciful Fate. You've got a little bit of Hammerfall in there. It kind of works really well between the American and the Scandinavian vibe.
Yeah, like I guess we are somewhat a crossover genres band in that sense. But our goal is it's been basically to do. I think that to do heavy metal, but with black metal and death metal influences. That's what me, like in my head, been thinking that we've been doing all this time.
Yeah, it's probably because you're from Scandinavia.
Yeah, exactly. So we have a lot of bands around here that we could draw some influences from.
Okay, so the last album, Motherless. Why did you come up with that title, and did you have any other titles?
No, not from. Let me think. Not for Motherless, I think. We didn't have. It just. I know that around the time I was going through a really rough patch, like personally, and wasn't feeling very, very great. Quite depressed and all that. So I spent some months isolating myself and writing most of the record, and I felt that just I've been somewhat abandoned spiritually too, which is basically where Motherless stems from. It feels like I've been disconnected from what I felt was home or mother in a sense.
Right, okay then. So, I mean, this album was the last album that Linus did for the band before he quit the band. Why did he leave? What was the reason?
Well, I mean, it's plenty of reasons, basically, but you can say that ever since Linus joined the band, it was like in 2 years after we started rehearsing. So we rehearsed basically 2 years without a singer, and then he joined, and right when he joined, he moved away from the area we live in. We live in like 1 hour from Gothenburg in Sweden, and he lives in the town next to ours. And right when he joined the band, he moved to another city, like more towards Gothenburg, and started working there. So he never got the chance to hang out with us in the same like regular basis that we all hung out. Like we hung out all the time, went to gigs and everything, and somewhat he was never around our area enough to really get into the like us hanging out and being friends and having a special connection in that sense. But of course we did everything we felt we could for him to feel that he was a part of the band and everything. But so basically the 10 years he was in the band, he never lived in our area because he was just living elsewhere, working. So eventually I think that's what kind of like pulled us apart for a long time, that he got more and more disconnected from the band, in a sense that we were doing stuff together, because it's not just a band that we play, it's
it's like a brotherhood.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean I known Linus since I was like 15 years old anyway, so it's not like, even though he joined when we was 18, 19, I still knew him from before. So it's like we go way back, we're friends and all that. And I mean, I think in some way he felt left out, but also it's hard to say, because I mean, if we are doing what we can for him to come and rehearse and everything, and he still doesn't come and rehearse that often, it like goes both ways. It was a tricky time, these 10 years, just making like the dynamics within the band and Linus, just that he could feel that he was a part of it. That's at least my speculation. And I mean, when we released Motherless, we went on tour with Ramen Portrait, and when we got back, we just had this like natural break for like 2 months or whatever, just because before doing anything with the band, like writing new songs and everything. But then eventually we started writing new songs, just coming up with some stuff, and we wanted him to come and just try out some stuff. But yeah, he was going through some difficulties in his personal life, so it literally felt that we were trying to get him to come and rehearse, and he just either did, like he said no, that he couldn't, or he stopped answering us, and it was just all this weird period that it was really hard to get in contact with him on a level that you can talk without this being like 3 days before he answers or whatever.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not blaming him for anything. Like, we're still friends, obviously, but we felt that it can't go on like this, because we want to. We're serious, and of course he is too. But if it will continue like this, we can't work with him. It's like we get annoyed, and probably he was annoyed too, because of the situation.
Yeah.
So basically, we just said that we need to see each other and have a meeting and talk about this, and we just said that we can't go on like this. And he said, like, yeah, I don't know if I'm in the right place to go on too. So it's basically a mutual decision that he'll quit, or like, yeah, let's part ways.
Okay.
We just sat there chatting for some hours and just said that we can't, we don't think this will work, because there's no signs of improvement over
Okay
time.
then. Right then, Alex. So we're going to talk about the new album, Feed the Fire. Where did you get Arthur from? What band was he in before joining Trial?
Yeah, he was in Air Raid, heavy metal band from Gothenburg.
Yeah, I've heard of those.
Yeah, exactly. And he sang on one record with them. And actually, when we parted ways with Linus, we were kind of joking, saying like, "Oh, maybe this Arthur dude is free," but just jokingly said it to each other. But we didn't contact him or anything, or try to contact him. We didn't know him from before, so. But eventually, we put the word out that we are looking for a singer, and he actually contacted us, and started like talking, asking some questions, and we got him to come to rehearsal, and we played some old songs, and it just felt it worked super well, and his like personality wise, he really fits into the band too, so it just felt like weirdly natural when we met him. It felt like it just, after some time, it just felt that we always known each other for some reason. It's just it was just weird. So that's we just decided after the first rehearsal, like, asked him, "Do you want to join, or are you just trying out?" And he said, "Yeah, I want to." So.
That's cool. So the title of the album, Feed the Fire. Why the title? I mean, the album cover is really good. Who did the artwork for that album?
It's Costin at Twilight 13 Media. He's done a lot of stuff, like for At the Gates, and but also to Ghost. He's done some designs and all that, and he does plenty of stuff well known out there. And we worked with him since Vessel, so he's done every cover for us since then. And I mean, he really like put the visual aspect to the album by that. Like, normally we just send him the lyrics and say, "Do what you want," because we trust him. And he just like reads them and draws his own picture, because after all, like at least for me, I think that the lyrics is not like the way I interpret them and think about them. It won't be the same for others when listening, and there's no right or wrong in what the lyrics is about. If you feel it's about something that you can connect to, that's good too. So that's basically the way we want to work with Costin. That I don't want to explain too much what I've been thinking when writing something. We want him to put his visuals to it, and but we always felt that he really understands what we want to do, or what we are about. It's very vague, but yeah, we always felt that he really understands us in that way. So in a way, it always turns out super much in line with what we would have thought it would, or whatever. But with that being said, we're still very amazed every time he sends us the first sketches or whatever. He's just incredibly talented.
Okay, then. So I'm going to ask you about the album, and they recorded at Welfare Studios in Gothenburg. How long did it take to record this album?
I think we spent 2 weeks there. Just was it 3 days or something, setting up the drums and recording them, and then just take it from there. Maybe like 2 or 3 days. We were working in between, so like we did something guitar-wise, and then maybe Arthur would go and sing some and all that. So, but I would say about 2 weeks.
Okay, this album also features Thomas, doesn't it, from At the Gates, I believe?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
how did he get hold of Thomas, and how did he feel about doing a song on the album?
Yeah, the thing is, Per Stålberg, one of our producers, he knows Tompa very well, and he just like mentioned that Tompa might swing by the studio because me and him are going away after we've done here for the day. But then it just there was some obstacles for Tompa that day, so he didn't swing by. But then Per mentioned that like you should really try to get him to do something on this album. And we were like, oh yeah, well, do you think he would? And he said, yeah, of course he would. He loves doing that kind of stuff, and he's been a guest on several albums too with other artists. And so we just okay, well, maybe if he it would be an honor for us, obviously, but if he wants to, so that we would really like to have him on the record. So it went some days, and then Per, the producer, told us that he and Tompa are like having this quiz at a pub in Gothenburg, just music quiz, metal quiz, and he said, just swing by and we'll and do the quiz, and we'll hang out in the evening. So we went there and did the quiz, and then Per and Tompa came to our table afterwards, and we just sat there chatting, and we asked if he wanted to do some guest vocals, because Per obviously talked to Tompa about us because we were still in the process of recording the album. So, and he said, yeah, absolutely. And we just set a date. I think it was the week after that, and he swung by the studio and nailed the parts instantly. It was ridiculous. I was just sitting there almost laughing because it was so absurd how good he is. And then it was all done in no time. And then we just went down to the city and had some drinks and food and hung out for the rest of the evening.
Oh, excellent!
Super nice.
So what songs are your favourites off this new album? Do you have any favourites?
It always changes, but in some way, I really like Snare of the Fowler, which Tompa is a guest on, because it has all these different sections to it, which I really like. But I also like The Fastest Hood, because there's something about Arthur's performance on that song that I really, really like. But I mean, this every song basically is there's something I really like about every song. So it's kind of hard to say.
Okay.
But I can say that I think Feed the Fire. The reason the album is called Feed the Fire 2 is basically when we were writing the song Feed the Fire, and we started rehearsing it and everything. We were still like in this period of should we do something that's more in line with Motherless, or should we like take a step away from it? And when we finished Feed the Fire, the song, we all felt like, okay, now we know what direction we would do. We will head with the album. So, like the songs, like maybe we wrote 4 or 5 songs after we finished Feed the Fire, and that's basically what set the foundation for the whole album in like feel and everything.
Okay,
So
then.
yeah.
So has the album been getting good reviews then, Alex, so far?
Yeah, absolutely. We are overwhelmed. I mean, of course, we get some ridiculous reviews like that. They think it's so good, which we're like very overwhelmed by, and thinking, oh yeah, that's nice that someone appreciate it. But and then we get there's always a big mix of reviews that this is not as good as Vessel. Like everybody seems to come back to Vessel. That was our highest point in the band so far. But I know it was a long time ago we recorded Vessel now. So
Okay. Right then, Alex, I'd like to thank you for doing this interview. Hope you have a nice day. Be safe.
Yeah, you too.
And do you have anything to say to the people listening to this on YouTube? Obviously, because it's not video.
Yeah. I'm sorry for the video, for not having the webcam there. But thank you everyone for listening, and check out and buy Feed the Fire. We put really much work into it, and I think it's the best thing we've done yet. And our new vocalist Arthur, just his performance on the record is mind-blowing. So yeah, really check it out, and we would appreciate it if you do.
So when are you guys going to be touring before we finish?
Well, we are looking into it. We have something coming up, but that's next year, and it's not official yet. But we just had our release gig, was it 2 weeks ago or 1.5 week ago in Gothenburg. But nothing official yet. We're working on it.
Okay.
So hopefully not too late, but very soon.